Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my sunroom here in East Tennessee on this beautiful October day. I wanted to show you all what my holiday cacti are looking like right now. They are gearing up to bloom. Some of them are already in bud, and I just thought I'd kind of go over some care tips with you all, see how your all's cacti are doing. I'm just wondering if anybody's are blooming early. I've heard from some of you that their cacti bloomed back in August. So that's interesting. Our temperatures have been very cool at night. And so the temperatures more than anything else, I believe, are what triggers them to bloom. I've even had a few cool days in the late spring and had some summer blooms just from the cooler night temps sometimes that we have in late May. So the temperatures really have everything to do with them blooming. If you're in Tennessee like me, then you're going to probably notice that yours are going to start budding here pretty soon. If you're in the deeper south of the United States or somewhere where it's still really, really warm, you might have to wait a while. But just keep in mind that whenever they do bloom, that's the best time for them to bloom. I really don't do anything to force mine to bloom during the holidays. I just let them do their own thing. And of course, here in East Tennessee, they do bloom for me during the holidays, which is really a treat. So let me show you what mine are looking like and give you all some tips for today. And here is Snow White, and I've noticed more and more buds on her every single day. You will notice that once you start noticing a few buds here and there, you'll notice more and more. It's kind of like going on an Easter egg hunt with your Thanksgiving cactus. It's a lot of fun to just look for buds. I'm seeing them everywhere now. I'm seeing them over here. So once they start budding, you're going to notice more and more and more of them. So I have changed up my fertilizer. I stopped using the MSU last month. And really last month I didn't really use any fertilizer last month. But once the buds started to form, I started using the Tiger Bloom Booster fertilizer. So let me show you what that looks like. And this is what I'm using right now. It's the Tiger Bloom Buds and Bloom Fertilizer. It's a 284. And I've been using this, I started using it last year. Molly S., one of my subscribers, mentioned that she used this, and she said that her bloom count and the color of her blooms really improved. And so I started using it last year, and I noticed a difference. So I use this once a week at the rate they recommend. They recommend 2 to 3 teaspoons per gallon once a week. And so that's what I use. And I've been pretty happy with the results that I've gotten with this. So as soon as I started noticing the buds popping out on my plants, this is what I started using. And I've also increased my watering frequency. I water them about every 4 days now. I water them when the top inch or so of soil is dry. They need more water to sustain those buds and the blooms. You're going to do that while they're blooming as well. And you're going to notice that your blooms last longer when they have sufficient water. So what I do is the first time that I water in the week, that's when I use the Tiger Bloom fertilizer. Then later on in the week when I water, I just use plain water. So about every 4 days. Now if you're in a hotter area than me, that might be a little bit more often. And if you're in a cooler area than me, then you're probably not going to need to water that often. Your temperatures and your environment are going to play a big role in just keeping that top inch or so of soil damp. The other thing is, this time of the year, while the temperatures are cooler, make sure that you drain the water away from the plant. This is the time of the year when I lost one of my cacti because I forgot and left water sitting in its tray. So that's the reason why I tell you all so often, make sure that you're draining the water away from your plant because mildew can set up this time of the year very easily. So that's what I'm doing with my watering routine. And your light requirements during this time of the year. I leave my cacti under my LED lights for 12 hours all throughout the year. They need at least 12 hours of darkness to trigger them to bloom, but like I told you before, I really believe that the cooler temperatures are the main thing that tell them to bloom. I have had blooms in the middle of summer after just a cool down of a few days in the temperatures. So I really believe that it's the temperatures that have a lot to do with when they are going to bloom for you. So I've just left these on for 12 hours. If you want to decrease it, you can, just to, really give your plant an idea, it's time to bloom. But I've noticed that with the 12 hours of LED light, it has not bothered them whatsoever. They bloomed right on time for me last year. And another thing I like to remind you all about is if you buy a Thanksgiving or a Christmas cactus during the holidays and you bring it home and it's full of buds and blooms, you bring it home, you set it on your dining room table, and before you turn around, all the buds and blooms have fallen off the plant. And I get asked all the time, what did I do wrong? You haven't done anything wrong. What happens is they get used to the environment where they're growing in, and the buds and blooms have gotten used to that environment. And then when you take them home, they're in a completely different environment, different temperatures, different light, different humidity. And the buds and blooms are very sensitive. So when you move the plant into your home, you're going to lose all the buds and blooms. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take good care of it for the next year, and then next year you're going to have beautiful buds and blooms. But that's what happens to me every single time I bring one of these home from a garden center. All of the buds and blooms fall off. So don't be disappointed. That's just very, very normal. That's just what these plants do. Take good care of it. You're going to have a beautiful bloom show next year. And it is kind of funny to do a Thanksgiving and Christmas cactus video this time of the year because I really don't have anything to show you, but buds and pretty green plants. But the thing is like during the rest of the year when they're not budding and blooming, this is what you're going to be looking at. I think they're beautiful even without the buds and blooms. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little slideshow like I did with last month's video. You all seem to enjoy just seeing what they look like in bloom last year, and I will do that again this year. But right now is the waiting game. Right now is, oh my goodness, there's buds forming, and that is an exciting thing when you see those buds forming. So don't move them around too much once they start budding and blooming. You can also, to see if they're going to start budding for you a little bit earlier, you could always put them just in a cooler room in your house, and they're probably going to start budding that way. And then when they start budding, you can put them back, where they're used to growing, because it seems like once the buds start forming, they're not so picky. It's when they're about ready to bloom. That's when they kind of get picky and they go through bud blast, which we hate that word, especially those of us who grow these cacti and orchids. They get bud blast really easy. That's just when the buds fall off the plant because they go through a sudden change in environment, temperature, humidity, and light. And as I end the video, I would love to hear from you all. Are your cacti blooming? Are they budding? What are they doing right now for you? Are you noticing any changes in them at all? I love to hear from you all when you all have blooming Thanksgiving and Christmas cacti. It's just really, really fun. So make sure you leave me a comment and let me know how yours are doing. I'd love to hear from you. And before I end the video, I just want to thank everyone for watching. You all are my orchid and Thanksgiving Christmas cactus family. Appreciate you all watching so much. I love hearing from you all. And before I end the video, I would love to say the blessing over you, your families, and your plants. May the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. You all make it a great day. We'll talk to you next time.